All right, last unit of the year. Yay! And the last unit of the year is going to be on probability. And have to take care of some definitions and some basics first. So let's start with the sample space. The sample space is the collection of all the possible outcomes. So if I was rolling a dice, the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Those are the possible rolls that I could have. So that is the entire sample space. An event is a collection of the outcomes from the sample space. So if the event is rolling a prime, right, and on the dice there are 3 prime numbers, 2, 3, and 5. So the event space would be 2, 3, and 5. Complement. Those are all the outcomes that are not in the event. Right? So if I was not rolling an even, then my complementary event would be the outcomes 1, 3, and 5. Union of two events. All right, you've got an event A and an event B happening. It could be rolling a dice and rolling 2 dice, or rolling a dice and flipping a coin. As long as there's 2 things going on, the union of the events is all of the possibilities for either one of them happening, either or A or B. So I've got all my prime numbers, 2, 3, and 5, and I have all the even numbers, 2, 4, and 6. All right, and 2 is in both groups, the primes and the evens, but we only list at one time. Right? So A or B are the primes and the evens all listed together. And the intersection is things that occur in event A and event B. All right, it has to be in both groups. Here it's in one or the other. Here it has to be in both groups for it to be the intersection. So the odd numbers are 1, 3, and 5, but the ones that are less than 4 are only 1 and 3. So it has to be both odd and less than 4 to be in the group. Here it has to be prime or even to go in the group, and this is odd and less than 4. And really we have 2 types of probability. We have theoretical probability, the probability of an event occurring, and of course we know that if we're rolling a dice, all right, our probability, all right, would be the favorable outcome, say, of the probability of rolling heads. All right, there is one favorable outcome. One side of that dice has a head on it, and there are 2 possible outcomes, right? 2 total outcomes. Now, this is only going to be true. This is only going to be true when the outcomes are equally likely, right? And of course, when we toss a coin, it's equally likely that it'll land on heads and lands on tails. But if I started doing an experiment and I started flipping the coin over and over and over and over again, I might end up with something that is not equal to 1/2. Right? I might find that 17 of my 30 tosses were heads. Right? That's the experimental probability. The actual probability, or the theoretical probability, we know is 1/2. So why is this not exactly the same? Well, that goes to the next concept, and that is the law of large numbers. As the number of repetitions of a chance experiment increases, the closer the theoretical and the experimental probabilities will become. Right? So if I tossed it 300 times instead of 30 times, I would probably get an answer much closer to 1/2 than 17 over 30. So the more times we flip the coin, the more likely we are to get our theoretical outcome, which is 1/2. Probabilities. Right? All probabilities are between 0 and 1. The probability that the sun will not come up tomorrow is 0. The probability that the sun will come up tomorrow is 1. The probability of finding a number in the sample space is 1. all the numbers in the sample space, so the probability of finding one of those numbers is, well, 1. It's going to happen. And the complement and its probability, the probability of an event occurring and the probability of the event not occurring, is equal to 1. If you add those two probabilities together, you should get 1. And as usual, if there's any questions or if there's anything I can help you with, please post a comment in Edmodo, and of course let me know that you watched it and understood it. And of course I would write some of these, make sure you go back and write some of these definitions down. So again, make sure you let me know that you watched it and understood it.